Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule, presented by FanDuel. Today is Monday, June 22nd, and it is part 2 of the 2023 Mizzou football season recap. Kenny is here, repping the Dutch. Congrats to your Dutch, Kenny, on a big-time win over Sweden.
He's lived in America all 26 years he's been alive. Not 26. All 38 years he's been alive. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding, Kenny, of course. We all know you're a 52-year-old man, and he's repping Dutch gear.
Payton is, as you can tell, vehemently against cheering for another country in any level.
No, Kenny's a Dutch man. Like, he has Dutch roots, I assume. So that would explain the last name.
It's going back on what you just said. Anyway.
I just like to ruffle some
feathers.
Some feathers. Yeah, that's the thing. Put that in article, Kenny.
Kenny, Payton, and I am here. Kenny and Payton, of course, did the part 1 of this solo dolo. I listened back to. I actually don't think I finished it. A good chunk of it for part 1 of the ranking of this season, and now we're going to do part 2. You're welcome. We're going to do part 2, the last 7 games of the Mizzou 2023 season. Just a awesome, wild year for the Tigers, out of nowhere year for the Tigers. Do you guys want to refresh the people? What did you do? You want to read what you guys settled on as your consensus 1 through 6 for the first half, or do you want to hear how I ranked them and see how we differed?
Let's hear how you rank them first.
Okay.
Let's hear how you rank 1 through 6.
And that'll be a good way we can zip through the first 6 games of this year again. So for number 1, I went with Mizzou 30, number 15, Kansas State 27 as my number 1 pick.
Yeah, we're all unified on that one.
Felt pretty easy. Number 2, I did Mizzou 38, Vanderbilt 21. I'm not going to lie. I don't remember anything about this game. I picked it because it was an SEC win, and I remember being a little bit angered at how the Memphis game went, and so I put it above that one. And I put Memphis 3, spoiler, Mizzou 34, Memphis 27. I went Mizzou 35, South Dakota 10 as number 4, Mizzou 23, Middle Tennessee. Mizzou 23, Middle Tennessee 19 as number 5, and LSU 49 and Mizzou 39.
I agree. I don't like have any large disagreements with you. I just like looking at Kenny's face there. Kenny, what did we have? We had
everything, but we had LSU in front of Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, that's
I am very
LSU
fine with that. And yeah, go ahead.
It was a lot. I mean, that was probably more fun to watch than the Middle Tennessee win.
It was more fun to watch in South Dakota too. But
Mizzou should have lost the Middle Tennessee game.
So that was the thing I was debating, was how fun it was objectively to watch versus somewhat gut-wrenching, especially looking back that Mizzou didn't come away with that game. But Payton also made a very good argument on the pod of just talking about that Middle Tennessee game maybe being the low point of the Eli Drinkwitz era to that, when you combine everything that happened before it and without having what happened after it happen yet. So I can very much be fine with that Middle Tennessee gross win being on the bottom. Kenny, did you say something, if I recall, about the Memphis game and it like looking weird in St. Louis or something?
Oh, it was awful to watch. The lighting was awful. It made and Payton put it well that, it was a pretty decent Memphis team, but just watching that game, it was gross. Like, it's just
the field was not in good
condition
either.
No,
yeah,
just all around bad.
I
Whole
remember
showing from
I remember thinking the same thing at the time, and I think that's why it's just lower on my list. It was just an unpleasing on the eye game in a multitude of ways, except for that one long
It's a
Marquise
game
Johnson
that should have
touchdown.
been much more memorable, but the dome
Right.
was pathetic.
Yeah. Not a shock. All right, so that's fine. I think that is a very fair list. I figured we weren't gonna have too much spin back on that. Now we get into the home stretch of this season. There are 7 games left. There is 1 loss left and 6 more wins for Mizzou. Those games I will just read them in order first, and then we're actually going to reverse it. We're going to go from 7 to 1, and then we'll combine them within the top 6 and see where the whole list ends up. In order, Mizzou, after that loss to LSU 49-39, they went from playing the number 23 team in the country to playing the number 24 team in the country. That was the Kentucky Wildcats. They beat them 38-21. I will spare no details for the games for now because we're going to talk about them. Then on October 21st, they beat South Carolina 34-12. They lost to number 2 Georgia 30-21 on November 4th. Beat Tennessee, which was number 13. Mizzou was number 14, 36-7. Then beat Florida 33-21, Arkansas 48-14, and Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl 14-3. And we will also get Payton, Kenny, and I were in attendance for 2 of these games together, which we'll dive into. I think this gets started on a pretty easy note. Is Georgia just last by default? You don't put any games below Georgia, surely?
No, I mean, you look at the back half of this schedule, this is probably the most fun I've ever had watching Mizzou, like, pretty easily in football, like this 7-game stretch. Some of the most fun I've ever had watching sports in general. Some of these wins were just mammoths. And Georgia's the one blemish. And that's a shame because this was not a bad showing at all by Mizzou in that game. I mean, this was a game where if Missouri goes out and beats Georgia, they are in the driver's seat to win the SEC East. And if they lose that game, which they did, they were actually completely eliminated from SEC East contention. So it was a bummer in that respect. But again, it wasn't like this was a terrible, terrible outing. I mean, this was a game where, again, Missouri for 2 years, honestly, was the only team that seemed like they kind of had Georgia's number a bit. Like they competed with Georgia in 22. Really, for 50 minutes, they were the better team. And in this one, they have to go to Sanford Stadium. And I mean, they jump out. They punched Georgia in the mouth in this one. They hit that deep ball to Luther, if you remember, to go up 7-3. They hung around the whole game. You know, Georgia threatened to break away. They didn't. Mizzou hung in there, actually got the ball, got close to midfield with a chance to take the lead late. And then, of course, that interception to Stackhouse was a real gut punch. But again, kind of like LSU, it was like a gut-wrenching feeling. But at the same time, it's like, man, that was like, they hung in there with like a real power in college football. So, and you know, like the SEC championship was off the table, and the college football playoff was not going to happen either. But you know, there was still a lot on the table for that team in the last 3 games, and they went out and showed it. But yeah, I mean, this does have to, just by virtue of being the only loss and every other win being pretty fun in its own way, I think it has to be 7 pretty easily.
One just fun thing to point out about this game, because there was a lot of conversations about Dominic Lovett going into this one. He didn't have like the most yards, but I do remember this. He did have a receiving touchdown. There were 2 passing touchdowns. Yeah, from Carson Beck, and one of those went to Dominic Lovett. He had 4 receptions for 33 yards, the former Missouri wideout.
I was having fun watching the highlights of a lot of these games and just doing the like naming guys thing, or just seeing some of the people that played, some of whom are still in college football, some of whom are like decent NFL players now. And I probably will just, as we go, like rip off some of those just for my own. It's fun just naming players. thing, and you mentioned it, Carson Beck. Lad McConkey was the leading receiver in this game, 7 for 95. You mentioned Stackhouse. That name just like rings a bell in my brain. I don't remember. He's not in the NFL now, is he? Or is he somewhere?
He might be somewhere. I'll check. But I mean, everyone else on that defense pretty much is in the NFL. Yeah, no, Stackhouse plays for the Packers.
Oh, yes, that's right. He's on the Packers. Yeah, I think that one's a de facto last. So we will we'll skim to number 6. Who would like to say what they think is number 6 first? How about that?
I think this one's easy.
I agree.
I do too.
I agree. Okay.
South Carolina.
South Carolina is also, which is very funny because I went, I was looking at all these games and I was like, man, I don't really remember anything about the South Carolina game. And I turn on the highlights and it's starting in like, I had forgotten I even went to this, to be honest, for a little bit. This was homecoming. Mizzou beats South Carolina 34-12. Lot of defense plays. They sacked Spencer Rattler 5 times in this game. That's going to be a theme. Spoiler alert for some of these other ones. Luther Burden had a crazy touchdown in this one. He mossed like 2 guys. They reviewed it for like ever to see if he stepped out of bounds. That came back to me on the when I on the rewatch. And then the other one was the Jalen Carley's interception where Spencer Rattler throws it. Literally, it just goes right through the receiver's hands when he's making a jumping catch and just lands in Carley's lap for the game clinching pick. And that's pretty much all I had.
I mean, yeah, this was looking back. I remember being hopelessly bored in the second half of this game because Missouri was just not doing anything. I mean, you look back on it, this was the start of like when Cody Schrader went on his absurd tear to end the year. I mean, South Tennessee is the game everyone remembers, and rightfully so. We'll get into that one. But this, I mean, Cody Schrader, 26, 159, 2 touchdowns. I remember going into this game, everyone was making a big deal as of like South Carolina has a horrible, horrible pass defense. Missouri's going to throw the ball all over them. Missouri almost, and this is something we'll get into when we talk about the 2024 game. They went out and really just tried to like prove they were the bigger, tougher, more physical team. Just ran it all over South Carolina, and it worked. They threw the ball 15 times. I so don't remember that Brady Cook went 15 for 15 in this game. I had no clue that happened, but I think this game left a mark on Beamer. I don't think Beamer forgot about Missouri just running all over them the next year. But I do have to say, I remember it because I was there, but definitely the least interesting win in my mind in the back half of that schedule.
Especially, a lot of people just left. Like this, you don't see that too much in SEC games.
You did not like that either.
Homecoming, yeah, it's everyone just left. Like we went and stood in the student section. You remember that? Like we left the hill and we got to go stand in the student section. There was just no one left in that game. I think this was kind of like we already knew Spencer Rattler was falling, from the graces of possibly being a first rounder, but this was just kind of the icing on the cake of, this guy's not really going to live up to what those expectations were.
Yeah. 23 for 40, 1 pick, no touchdowns. He was sacked. He was under great duress. I mean, the defense harassed him for
that was a big thing with South Carolina that year. I remember the infamous chain gang eating a hot dog game from earlier that season with Beamer, where like against North Carolina, Rattler got sacked. I think it was like 9 times. And the first thing Beamer's talking about is not like his quarterback getting sacked 9 times and how they have to clean that up. It's, I don't know, the chain gang was eating a hot dog or some stupid. It's kind of why Shane Beamer is in the state he's in my opinion. I just, his type of antics, it kind of reflects in his teams sometimes. And this was a real overhyped, real bad South Carolina team. And this, to me, 2024 was a very bitter pill to swallow, but this is kind of a perfect encapsulation of what this series has been really since us three have been fans in 2019.
If you want some names, Kenny mentioned him, Spencer Rattler. Nick Harbor had a catch in this game. I think he had 2, actually.
Yeah, he was a big time. I remember him
still there. Came back. He's come back for his senior year.
Yeah.
Omega Blake, I remember him. And then there were a couple on defense. Debo Williams, Jalen Kilgore was really good. I remember. I think I only remember O'Donnell Fortune because he had
Nicky Manwari.
Oh, was Nicky Manwari in this game?
He's on.
Oh, he totally was. He had 5 tackles.
O'Donnell Fortune was a good. O'Donnell Fortune was a big time player for them the next year too.
Shout out Nicky Manwari. I love.
No, that was. Manwari. I mean, that South Carolina team had some really freaky good athletes. I remember going into 24. I wasn't high on South Carolina, but I said on our preview show, if South Carolina can actually coach up some of these guys, they'll be good. And unfortunately, a blind squirrel found a nut, and that's how that happened. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of Rattler in general was just, yes, he was under duress, but some of the sacks he took were real embarrassing in that one. It was an ugly, ugly game for them.
But good for Mizzou. All right, number 5.
I think it's. Go ahead.
I think it's Arkansas.
Yeah.
I also had Arkansas. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I hate that this has to be number 5 because I was still I was so tired of hearing about how Arkansas could still be something under Pittman because they had one lightning in a bottle season. And I mean, there was that fun GIF Drink tweeted, I think when Brian Huff committed, of him pumping his fist and the graphic comes up and Mizzou's up 41-0 in this game. This was. I remember Armand Membu got in a fight.
Oh, that was the first thing I was hoping we'd talk about was the fight.
Just some dorks on Arkansas. They were seniors too. That was their last game because they didn't go to a bowl game.
Yeah, Brady Cook got shoved out of bounds. Next play. It wasn't Membu at first. It was somebody else who was.
They pushed Cameron Johnson.
Cameron Johnson was fighting a guy on the ground, and then Membu came in and was everyone was grabbing, and then I remember because I recreated it with the Super Smash Bros. Title music after it happened, which I got great enjoyment out of. It took forever, but there was the fight. Let's see the things I wrote down from rewatching the highlights in this game. KJ Jefferson got hurt on the 3rd play on the fumble. They went to the backup who Jacoby Criswell. I feel for you, man, but 12 for 20, 96 yards. He was sacked 4 times.
There was a scoop and score. Jernigan had a scoop and score.
Jay Jernigan and Chuck Hicks combined for a scoop and score. It was a Chuck Hicks forced fumble. Jay Jernigan returned it. Niles Gaddy had a strip sack in this game. Sorry, not a strip sack, just a sack. Defense. Shout out the Membu fight. They lost Armand Membu, their starting left tackle, with 3 minutes left in the second quarter in a 10-0 game, and just no one was worried. I don't think anyone had any fear about the backup right tackle coming in. This was kind of a great. Mizzou did what it was supposed to do against Arkansas, and of course, with what happened the week prior, there just felt like no weight on this game.
You see who the only guy that didn't have a tackle for Arkansas was?
Who was that?
Yeah.
Trajan Jeffcoat.
Oh, yes.
No, yeah. I mean, there was also that one part where Mizzou throws a touchdown to Brett Norfleet. They kick off Arkansas because they're embarrassing. Doesn't recover the kickoff. Literally, it bounced off the guy's helmet and Mizzou recovered it. The very next play is another touchdown to Brett
Norfleet. Yep. That was a great moment.
God, Arkansas stinks.
If you want some names on this Arkansas team, I already mentioned KJ Jefferson. You know who did have a good game that should have been some foreshadowing? Isaac Tesla, who a lot of people like in the NFL now.
He's 2 for 34, that good a game.
I felt like he had more catches in the highlights that I watched.
Well,
I thought he got a touchdown.
Andrew Armstrong was a receiver that was considering Mizzou that offseason before.
Texas A&M Commerce, right?
Yeah.
Chris Paul Jr. played for them on defense. I remember he had a lot of hype for a little while.
This game was rainy too, wasn't it? It was like weather.
Gross. It was just like
not as bad as the next year or next time they played it in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Oh, Cam.
I guess the last you can say the last 3 games in this
real bad weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Columbia.
Yeah, this was just a mauling. It was great. I remember the last fumble at the very end with like 12 seconds left was just a perfect ending. I really wanted Mizzou to shut them out, but alas, they got 2 of those. They got those 2 garbage time touchdowns. But
I remember
that play made up for it. It was
in
great.
the mini movies, they were talking about how like, they're gonna give Nate Pete a touchdown.
Yeah,
and like Brady Cook's like he's gonna leap and he's gonna score, and then like he doesn't leap. And Brady just like drive-bys the camera. He's like, he didn't jump, but he scored. And he just like scampers away. Yeah, I mean, to me, like this was the last hurdle because like by now we knew like if Mizzou won this game, they were getting a New Year's 6. So
can I be honest, Payton? This didn't feel like a hurdle. It felt like a step stool.
Well, that was the thing. Like there was a little bit of a feeling like, well, they could totally like go out and blow this. Because I remember, I think this was when they also like told Arkansas players the week leading up, like, hey, we're not firing Sam Pittman.
Yep.
And that surely didn't rally the troops at all. Yeah, but you guys are probably right. Florida felt like probably that last real test. Like once Missouri got through that, they were probably golden.
This was the first time since 2014 that Missouri reached double-digit wins in a season, and it felt like the Florida game got them to the double digits. And if that Kentucky game doesn't happen the way it does, I think you maybe slot Arkansas above just for the notion that you did get to 10 wins. You did reach double digits. But yeah, I think the Florida game is the reason you made the New Year's 6. You know, getting past the game you did. This game, I think no one had doubt that Mizzou wasn't going to. I mean, everyone knew that Mizzou was going to win this game.
Yeah, I just the stuff they had pulled off in the earlier parts of the season, I was just like, there's no way. So Kenny, you kind of tipped your hand a little bit. Is number 4 the consensus number 4 the Kentucky game for everybody?
Man, now this gets so hard. These last 4 games are absolute bangers, but yeah, I think I will have to go Kentucky number 4 just because this turned into a blowout. There's so much you can say about this game because it was coming off of that like bitter loss to LSU to where you kind of have to measure back your expectations to where New Year's 6 was still not even on my radar. I was like, okay, get a like couple wins. Maybe you're aiming Citrus Bowl limit. Like you're aiming for like the Gator Bowl, stuff like that. And you had to go to Kentucky, and going into this game, Kentucky's series and how they'd won games against Missouri was well documented. How this series has just been a horror show. And I mean, it looked horrible out from the outset again. I mean, Devin Leary had a rushing touchdown on like a QB option. Like it was a read option, I think it was, now that I'm saying it. I remember Kenny and I had always been Ray Davis fans when he was at Vanderbilt, and he was torching Mizzou in this game too. I mean, you go down 14-0, and then you have that snap over Brady Cook's head. It was just like all coming crashing back down. But lo and behold, I mean, the thing that probably saved Eric Link's job for 4 years, it happened. And it was the throw of Luke Bauer's life and the catch of Marquise Johnson's life. And that kind of opened the floodgates.
I'll just should we have the debate now? Is that the greatest play of the Drinkwitz era?
No, I don't think so. I'd have to go back and think, but I still think there's probably...
I don't think so. I think the 4th down throw in the Florida game is the play of the Drinkwitz era.
We'll get there.
That'd be another fun list we'd have to go through.
Yeah,
I think the 3rd and 17 QB draw against K-State in 2022 is the play of the Drinkwitz era.
The final play against Auburn in 2022.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah. That's a good question, though. That's on the Pantheon. It's in the top.
I think it's easily on the Rushmore.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to hear what other people thought of that. I wrote down the same thing. No answer for Ray Davis. He had 100-something yards in the first quarter. The throw from Brady to Theo Wees to put them up 17-14 in this game was an absolute dime. I forgot about that. And then Kenny Marcus Clark had a pick in this game. So
I don't remember it, to be honest.
It was right towards the end. He had to actually
it was the last one.
It was a hell of a pick.
I think this game is funny too Devin Leary, who was awful after the first quarter and was a guy that Mizzou and some of us really wanted Mizzou to go after in the portal. I remember that in that previous offseason. And he ends up at Kentucky and totally stunk. It's defined by one play. The game completely flipped. The defense then just woke up and just eviscerated him. 4 sacks against Devin Leary. In terms of name recognition, Kentucky has a lot of fun ones. Obviously, Ray Davis, who has become a kind of a cult figure. Barry and Brown, who went to play at LSU and got drafted by the Saints, was a freshman receiver in this game.
Dane Key.
Dane Key. My guy Deion Walker, who I fell in love with.
Really good in this game.
He was awesome in this game and is awesome on the Bills now. I think Jordan Dingle, not the Penn State guard, also played for Kentucky still in this one. They had another big guy up front who I remember was good. That I can't put my finger on now, but yeah,
I remember that other running back, the guy with the hyphenated last name, was a guy Mizzou was interested in. Oh, Max Hairston. That wasn't
Hairston. He was.
I don't think he was really fully. Yeah, Sumo Cardi, however you say it. I know Mizzou was after him.
Hairston picked off Brady Cook in this game, and it was his 5th interception of the year in week 6. That was.
Oh my gosh! So he was a full.
Yeah, he was already.
Wow.
Yeah, he was already Max Harrison at that point.
I'll throw just a couple more quick things in on this game. One, I remember this was the first game in a while. Kenny's highlighting Tyler Hidler. Oh my gosh. Did not know he was on this team.
He had a tackle.
I cannot believe he was on this team. This was the first game, maybe all season, where Luther didn't quote unquote get his. Oh, Philip Roche too. I remember Philip Roche was fun to watch this season. He actually flashed. And Luther, to his credit, didn't pout or anything, didn't make a scene when they got behind. It was just a great team effort all around. This game, I remember in the mini movie, it got so out of hand. It turned into a slapstick comedy with the sacks and the interceptions. I remember. I'd have to go back. It's one of my favorite mini movies, honestly, from that season. Mizzou got to 6-1. They were bowl eligible in early October after having to stress about it all 3 other years for us, until November, the last game of the year in 2022 even. And I remember being genuinely really excited that they were already bowl eligible. And they asked Drinkwitz, you're bowl eligible 7 games in. What do you say about that? I remember Drink straight up said, in his kind of Drinkwitzy way, why stop now? And I was oh man, that was cool. He's really got his, to me, it was Drinkwitz was really, really winning me over by that point. And yeah, Kenny kind of said the rest of the season doesn't happen without this game. I think I'd have to agree. And honestly, maybe you can argue for that reason that the punt is the play of the Drinkwitz era, because it kind of probably set in motion a lot of the other things. But I still think the 61-yard field goal is probably my pick for Drinkwitz's biggest play of his era.
Well, now it's not going to be a fun debate, because I actually completely agree with you, Payton. Because I think Drinkwitz doesn't survive another 2 weeks if that field goal doesn't go through the uprights.
Yeah, if they lost that game after the delayed game, we would have had an interim coach on Monday.
That would have been my main thing had I been on with you guys for the first round of this, is just how important making that field goal actually was for his survival, with how just in the mud it was back in week 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to the top 3.
What a mammoth 3 games these are.
We have Tennessee, Ohio State, and Florida left.
Where are you guys going? I want to hear what you have to say first on this. I have my order in my head.
Me too.
Okay.
So should I say my third first?
Yeah, you say your third first.
This never goes well. I feel like I always get.
Just go. There's no judgment. These are all fantastic games in their own right.
All right, I'll do it. I have Ohio State third.
Okay.
All right, I have Florida third.
Wow.
I do. I have Florida third.
All right.
Do we all have a different top?
What do you have?
This is great.
I have Tennessee at third. I mean, it's very hard.
Wow. I'm
shocked by that.
I think Florida's number 1. I mean, I'll get to this.
I also think Florida's number 1.
You don't get anywhere if you don't beat Florida.
Both have Florida above Tennessee.
I had Tennessee number 1 going into my ranking, and then I watched all the highlights, and the Florida game is just a better game. It was
wow. I'm shocked by that. Like, it absolutely is maybe the most dramatic. Like,
it was very important. They had to.
The 4th and 17 is like. That's kind of when you realize like how different that team was. Well, I don't even know if I would say that though, because by then they were 8-2 going into that game. You know, they were really good. I remember after Tennessee thinking that was like, oh my God, like if they beat a bad Florida team and an even worse Arkansas, they're going to get a New Year's 6 game. Like that is like the dream. And I'm shocked you two have that number 1.
Can I go to bat for the bad Florida team thing for part of the reason I have
go ahead,
number 1?
Yeah.
I think kind of because of that. Like, I remember I was watching it back and I was like, Florida, in addition to losing Graham Mertz in this game, which, that did throw a sprinkle for me of beating him for why they were number 1. But they like had no offensive linemen. They lose their starting quarterback. They're starting a bunch of freshmen. They're 500. And it's just like, it feels like a situation where every good Mizzou team finds a way to lose that game. And this Mizzou team found a way to win it. And that's where it just like, it finally felt the full culmination of like, okay, like we're the story this time. We're not they came so far. They got so close and blew it when all they needed to do was knock off a 500 team. Like, they had seemingly the universe go against them and want to will Florida to win this game. And they shut it down and they took care of business. They won. They got that 9th game. It's why I got so confident about Arkansas, because I didn't think that was going to happen twice once they got this kind of, demon vanquished, with these bad teams. And I don't know whether they underestimated or not, but I don't know. It's that like played a factor for me weirdly, even though like Florida wasn't super good. It almost like they had to overcome that part of it too, in a weird way.
Okay, no, I totally agree with you. Like they're like you said, like after they beat Florida, I was pretty sure they were going to beat Arkansas. I will never, after 2019 Vanderbilt, consider any SEC game a layup again. But I was pretty sure. But you're absolutely right. This was the more challenging game. I'll give you guys this: the aura and like mystique around this game. Night game, ESPN, Joe Tessitore's on the call.
In his bag, too. Joe Tess. Yeah. This was a great Joe Tess game. Props to him.
This was absolutely like a true bona fide. I know we're talking about this third. We don't have to have it third, especially since you two have it number 1, which I am shocked by that. I thought at least one of you would have Tennessee number 1.
I did until today when I watched highlights.
But
it very slipped it too.
You did have a lot of like comical things happening. There was that whole sequence where there were like a gazillion penalties / reviews when Mizzou was in the red zone. Do you remember the Luther Burden circus catch that got overturned where he got up and did like the dance? Do you guys remember this?
Yeah,
it was the
vaguely.
best. Oh my God. You guys don't even remember that? And you had this game number 1?
It's just one play. I mean, there's so many things to this game. Like you talk about the night game. You can compare it to 2021. I mean, that was the best win of, some could say that was the best win of the year. That gets you to bowl eligibility in 2021, and the way you beat Florida that year and you send a coach home without a job. That's in the back of my mind too. And I think some people forget Max Brown played a pretty good game.
He
We
played.
ran
I thought he was going to be a star.
He was incredible.
And yeah, incredible that he ended up at Charlotte a year later. He had 7 rushing attempts, and it includes, getting sacked and hitting the backfield for 42 yards on the ground. He went 4 for 5 through the air with 56 yards. And overall, I mean, it was just very good quarterback play. I mean, Graham Mertz, he was kind of banged up the entire year, and he's been banged up most of his college career. But getting knocked out of that one, if this game was 33-14, sure, slot it down there at the bottom with Kentucky or South Carolina. But the meaning of this game, this was a game that got you to the call. This game got you in the year 6. You were going to beat Arkansas no matter what. Yes, it was a 5-5 Florida team. It shouldn't have been that close. But the way you win this game is the reason you get to play in Jerry World. This is the reason you get to play Ohio State, because you won this game. If you lose this game, who cares? You beat Tennessee. I mean, I don't think you're going to the year 6 if you don't win this game. This was, pretty cool, like scheduling that. Yes, you beat Tennessee. It looked like the best win of the year. Then you actually have a real challenge with the team that had really not much to lose other than trying to vie for a bowl game. And they could spoil your season. And they played a very good game. And Mizzou still came out and won this. You win it on the field goal. I think, I do have a little bit of a soft spot for Jack's video that he did for this game as well, when he did the Tom Petty song at the end. So I think that sticks in the back of my mind. But the Gator Chomp for me, this game had everything. What's better than, beating an opponent, routing them. I think this is a pretty fun one too, coming back and have all the roller coaster and the thrills and the emotions. This game checked a lot of boxes.
Go ahead.
With all the goofiness too on top of that, Payton, it feels like an encapsulation of the downward spiral to rise of the whole entire last couple of years, almost in one game. Like, hearing them talk about Florida, you were like, Mizzou just was this for years, and now this year they're not, and might get dragged back down to the depths and hellscape that is mediocrity in a Power 4 conference. And instead they were able to rise above it and figure it out and find a way. I don't know, in spite of shooting themselves in the foot on occasion and having some rando put on the cape for no other reason than he had to go in because he was hurt. And you just find a way. And it ended with a Mevis field goal the same way the season started. And yeah, I don't know. It was just it was kind of, the mystique of it. It was kind of just a magical, it felt like it feels like, looking back, almost like an encapsulation of what Mizzou had gone through, the ups and downs to that point.
Yeah, let me make perfectly clear, because I do think it's kind of turning into I think it's ridiculous you guys picked this number 1. I don't think these 3 games are absolutely in their own world to me. Florida, Tennessee, and Mizzou. And Ohio State. I'm not saying you're wrong for having this number 1, because there are absolutely what you guys said, the mystique, the kind of it totally did feel like after they beat Tennessee, it's exactly what's on the table now. What getting to a New Year's 6 would mean to the program. Now it was a total trap game setup. Just a classic. And I mean, there's so much talent when you look at the Florida roster. I mean, ETN went in the portal after this season. I never wanted a player to come to Mizzou more than I wanted Trevor Etienne to come to Mizzou out of the portal, because he tore Mizzou to shreds. Pearsall had an awesome game. Eugene Wilson, I remember, made a couple plays.
Did Princely Uman Mielen?
Yeah, they did. I think he went to Ole Miss.
He went to Ole Miss. You know who else they had was a man named Chris McClellan.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. No, this game absolutely has valid arguments. I mean, Luther Burden, on top of that whole I can't believe nobody here remembers that circus catch that got waved off on review. That catch was unbelievable, and they had to settle for a field goal. But I mean, this game absolutely has an argument. I just don't think, in my mind, I do have to push back a little bit. Kenny said Tennessee would. He doesn't think. I forget exactly how you framed it, Kenny. You said like people wouldn't care as much about Tennessee if they lost this game. I push back a little on that because of what Tennessee did to Mizzou the prior 2 years. I think that the way Mizzou won that Tennessee game would have had a lot of credence no matter what happened the rest of the way. Not to say you're wrong in the respect that like the season wouldn't have turned out to be the same caliber, but yeah, I'm totally with you guys. This is like one of the best games I've ever watched, just from like a actual like watching standpoint, even though I was totally miserable for a lot of it. I was like screaming and cussing and everything. And we haven't even gotten to like the big moment, like that 4th and 17, dude. Like just Luther Burden finding grass, Brady Cook finding him. After, by the way, the previous 3 plays from Brady Cook would be framed real differently if you make that throw.
Well, and he did literally just do that. The thing I can never get over is how horrible Florida's defense was on that. Like Luther Burden ran
totally lost him
into the middle of 3 guys and just sat down and caught the ball.
Yeah.
It was like they were warming up before it. It was nuts. And then the next one, you guys have always talked this throw up, which I appreciate, because the one to Mekhi Miller was also like, it was a great throw by Cook, and it just got those extra yards that you needed to know. All right, like,
well, and the throw to Mookie right after the throw to Mekhi on the sideline that got it even closer. I mean, it was after the debacle of Kansas State earlier in the year. I mean, Mizzou looked like they knew like total in control, no doubt about it. Like they didn't panic once they converted that 4th and 17. They got up to the line, and I think they spiked it then through to Mekhi. Or maybe they just went straight to Mekhi. Either way, I mean, they looked comfortable. They looked like they knew, hey, we're a damn 8-2 team. Let's just punch this one away. Absolutely, you cannot write the story of 2023 without this being one of the main chapters in it. And yeah, I mean, the season does not have the same vibe and mystique around it without this game. 100% agree.
What I'm saying with the game of the Tennessee one losing a little bit of value is that Mizzou and Ole Miss were those 2 teams that were going to get those final spots in the New Year's Six Bowls for the SEC tie-ins. The reason I say that is because LSU would have also been at the same spot of having 3 losses. And if you lose that game to Florida, I mean, that kind of puts you in a bind with 3 losses, and LSU looks a little bit better than you do.
They wouldn't have made a New Year's Six.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that the Tennessee loses a little bit of value because you're going to end up in the Reliaquist Bowl. I think that this game just really gets you there because it finally pushes you over the edge. And like Jack said earlier, you don't get Mizzou'd. This was the epitome of not being Mizzou'd.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. From just the logistics of like needing to get to the New Year's Six, you're correct. I'm talking just more from like the emotional, like fan remembering perspective. I still think people would remember Tennessee more or less the same way, but luckily we don't have to live in a universe where we have to test that theory. So
I think too, because there was a moment, right? Like Tennessee almost like gets
there's a moment in Tennessee, I think too.
What is it?
The Dalen Carnell pick 6.
That's true. I
mean the icing of Heupel.
Yeah,
like that too.
But I think that it is the difference between that is the Dalen Carnell pick 6 is an exclamation point on an incredible demolition of this team that demolished you, which is awesome and iconic. And I have that Nestler call memorized from when he picks it off and runs it in. And but the Florida one, like that was to essentially win the game. And I think I think that's the difference a little bit is like, it sets you up for like a game winning kick. It's just a little more like, I don't think I'll ever forget where I was when I watched that.
Oh, I won't. I remember where I was for pretty much all these games in particular, but
it's so
also
close.
The Tessitore call of that 4th and 17 play is incredible as well. They gotta have it. It'll be a top 10 tumble if he doesn't get it. Yeah, that's a hell of a call. But
I think I just stacked that moment just like a half an inch higher, as amazing as it was to watch that Tennessee game. And but I don't know. I mean, like, do either of you want to go to
You two have it number one, so it might have to be number one.
Well, I was going to say, do either of you two want to go to bat for the bowl game? Because my thing with the bowl game was, like, if that game is played in September, and even if Mizzou wins it, it's a iconic win and a great opponent to beat. And there were a couple moments that ended up happening in that game, but I don't think there were. It didn't. I don't know. It was a 14-3 game against Ohio State's like backup offense. When you take all of the mystique out of it,
they were missing 2 starters on offense.
Yeah, one of them was a quarterback though.
One of them they forced out.
Yeah, the quarterback
he wasn't going to play next year.
Forced out, but
yeah,
Kenny, I'm curious, and this I guess will decide how we go through the last two. So you both have Florida 1. I have Florida 3. What are your guys' 2 and 3? Knowlton, you said Ohio State's 3, which means Tennessee's 2 for you.
Yeah.
Kenny, what's your 2 and 3?
Man, it's hard. Like these two could just be chalked up the same almost for me, but yeah, I mean, it's a good feeling the way you win. Yeah, it's
above the rest.
Yeah, I don't mean to talk down the Ohio State game like that, but
I'm gonna say Tennessee 2 is what I got.
So you have Ohio State 3.
Yeah, I think there's just so much more meaning and value in that Tennessee game, just in general, to the history and the program of the last 2 years, especially last season, the season before.
Ohio State,
totally
man, I don't even know. I'm trying to think how nervous I was going into the Ohio State game, because I almost think of it more now as like a coronation, like kind of not like the Arkansas game
into that Ohio State game, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like obsessive over like everything about it.
I don't know. I didn't get to the level with the Arkansas game, but I was just like, I just felt so confident in Mizzou at that point. I was just like, this team can hang with anybody in the country. I don't care.
I was literally DMing an Ohio State fan that I've followed forever on Twitter, like every day, to see like who was playing or not. And he was like, sorry, man, the only people we're missing are McCord and there was a linebacker they were missing too. And of course, Marvin Harrison, but everyone knew Marvin Harrison was going to play. So
it is pretty crazy. I'm even looking at the defense. So their leading tackler was that guy, Simon,
who was a good player.
Mm-hmm. And then it's Igbinosin, Sonny Styles, Denzel Burke is on here. JT Tuamolu Lau is on here. Wild. So they had Ibuka. Did they not have JSN? Am I getting my
No, JSN didn't play like almost this whole year.
Yeah, because he was younger. I think that was why.
No, he was hurt.
He was hurt. Okay. Because the Rose Bowl,
was he in the league by that point?
No, I don't think
he was either hurt or in the league.
JSN was drafted this year.
He was drafted that year. Oh my gosh.
We were there.
I'm getting old. Oh, we were there. Wow, that's bad. I totally have my wires crossed on that.
So you two have 3-2-1, Ohio State, Tennessee, Florida. I have. So my 3-2-1 is Florida. I'm going Tennessee 2 as well, and I do put this number 1. I do put Ohio State, Mizzou number 1 because, again, this idea that Ohio State was down like 1,000 starters, it ain't true. It is not true. They were missing like Tommy Eichenberg. That was the linebacker. They were missing Eichenberg. They were missing Harrison. And they were missing McCord, who they forced out. Who nobody wanted anything to do with Kyle McCord by that point. So I totally push back and reject the notion that Mizzou beat this backup squad of rag and tag, just happy to be there Ohio State Buckeyes. All right, look at some of the names in this game. Like Knowlton just went through. Sonny Styles. I went back and watched not just the highlights. I went back and watched all 2.5 hours.
Did you all 22 it?
Yes, no, but I watched the broadcast for 2.5 hours. Sonny Styles was fucking everywhere, absolutely everywhere in this game. And what do you know? In 2026, he goes number 7 overall in the draft. Jack Sawyer he was the greatest player ever in this game. He is in the NFL. You mentioned Tuimoloau. I'm so sorry. I mean, that guy, he was a monster in this game. Like, there are NFL players up and down this roster. Even the third string quarterback, Devin Brown, started this game. He got knocked out immediately, really quickly by Johnny Walker. Lincoln Keenholz, an ACC team that is like a playoff hopeful this year, is handing Lincoln Keenholz the key to the car this year to be their starting quarterback. Louisville, I'm pretty much certain, has him as the unopposed starter, if I've read it correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I'm sorry Lincoln Keenholz wasn't able to beat out 2 of the better QB recruits in the country. But, I mean, Egbuka was in this game. Henderson played like every down. This was a very more or less complete Ohio State team. And if you want to give Missouri no credit for that, I have to disagree with it. I mean, this was a legit Ohio State roster. And to me, I always go back to the point of, if you're not getting into the college football season to see Missouri play in a game like this against Ohio State in a New Year's Six Bowl at Jerry World, what are you hoping for? Obviously, you want to make the playoffs, but I'm sorry, this is Mizzou we're talking about. Mizzou is not going to make the playoffs every year. They especially were not going to make it every year in the 14 playoff. To me, this was like a 99th percentile outcome. It was everything I ever dreamed of. I mean, you can, like, in college, I would just yap about, like, being able to maybe go to the Texas Bowl. I mean, they skipped over the Texas, the Music Cities, all of that. And they went straight to this bowl game where you get to play Ohio State. That's like a once in a lifetime thing. Like, we may not see that again. I hope we do. But to me, like, this was Missouri's lightning in a bottle season. They got a marquee matchup against the brand of college football, in my opinion. I think they're a little bit, to me, this is the team, like, in college football. And Mizzou went out for 3 quarters, they shat themselves. But then in the 4th quarter, they got it together. And they walked Ohio State up and down the field. They made these big, Brady Cook made big throws when there was an offside to Theo Weiss. He was handing Cody Schrader was just ripping off big gashes. They were going for it on Drinkwitz knew the moment. He was going for it on these 4th downs in Ohio State territory. To me, this is what everything was building up to. This was Missouri's, like Knowlton said, this felt like a coronation, and Missouri went out and they won the damn football game. To me, this is what it was all about. Yes, you can talk about how it wouldn't have happened without all the other games, but at the end of the day, this is the type of game you work towards. Missouri got their chance and they capitalized on it. So that is why this is number 1 to me.
I think from an entertainment perspective too, Payton, and I'm glad you pointed out the first 3 quarters, nothing happened. I think from that, yeah. So I think that's why sometimes I have Florida and Tennessee above, because it was just more fun to watch. We were all at this game. It was not enjoyable. I mean, I was still a fan at the time. I remember sitting next to you, Payton. I remember getting annoyed with some of the Ohio State fans too, just like some people like standing up, moving around during the game. I was like, come on, like, I know you guys have been here before, but from the perspective of an Ohio State fan, I would presume it's like 65% are still in that boat of saying like, oh, it's Mizzou Super Bowl. We weren't at 100%. And the next year they won the national championship. I think when you look back at this season too, that is also a good feeling. And that also boosts this game. In hindsight, just knowing that this team got a new quarterback, Ryan Day, who the questions about him and his future at Ohio State, and he goes out and does it kind of similar to Mizzou. The expectations aren't the same and the highest, but going into that year, I mean, what were the odds of, Eli Drinkwitz having his Twitter photo to this day of him holding the Cotton Bowl trophy. Like, he still hasn't changed it. That is his photo on Twitter. I don't think it'll ever change in his time at Missouri. And Payton, when you're talking about, will we ever see it again? Not to this magnitude. The next time this happens, the game will be, if it ever happens, will be much more valuable to the program. There is no more of these New Year's Six games. Like, if Mizzou does it, I mean, you could probably say if Mizzou wins a playoff game in general, even if it's on its home field, it's going to feel a lot more, have a lot more value to the program than this one. That's why this is just like, there's nothing that can really, this is in its own kind of, caveat now. It's in its own room at its own level, because Mizzou can't really get to this point again, because no one can. It's just not college football anymore. And this is the last year, the New Year's Six before the playoff expands to. I think in general, you made a lot of good points, Payton. I think I also kind of put this in like an entertainment perspective too, of this one kind of falls down the list. And I think it gets a kind of some negative points to it for the MVPs that they chose of this game. That will always stick with me. The Cotton Bowl chose the wrong MVPs. I have no idea why Brady Cook and Johnny Walker Jr. are the MVPs of this game. It should have been Cody Schrader and JC Carlisle. Yeah, Carlisle had an incredible game. I know he got knocked out at one point of this game, but he played his ass off in this one. He led the team with 11 tackles, 8 solo, he had 1 sack, and then of course 1 sack got him a tackle for loss. And then Cody Schrader in this one had 128 yards on the ground. He did have 29 carries and a touchdown.
The weird MVPs.
Yeah. I don't know, man. To me, like, the vibes were just so good going into this game. We all stayed at Kenny's uncle's, right? It was your uncle's, his uncle's place. It was awesome. It was just like one of the best experiences of my life to be able to go and see this. I don't know, man. Like, I got to Mizzou and I dreamed of them like going 8-4 or 9-3 and getting a decent bowl win. For them to have gone 10-2, to have drawn, I thought they were going to get Liberty. Like, genuinely, like, I was like, oh, good, they made a New Year's Six, but now they're going to give us Liberty out in the desert or something, or in the Peach Bowl. Like, Ohio State was just not even on my radar, really. I remember I was like, we're either going to get Cotton against Penn State, or like the Peach or Fiesta Bowl against Liberty, and that's going to suck.
I will give you that. I might put the bowl selection show over like the entirety of the previous 2 seasons, like, because I was watching and I was working covering it remotely, but I had it on TV, so I was like, it just locked in. And Mizzou got Ohio State, and I just, like, I yelled so loud. I was living at home at the time. I think my parents were like, "What is going on?"
I still have that
I just was so shocked.
In my phone. I'm gonna tweet it on the show.
I don't think I had no idea. I did not think. I was on board with you, Payton. I totally thought they were just gonna get some rando team like Liberty out in Vegas or somewhere dumb.
I think there's a better way to rank these top 3. I think they should all be 1. I think you could do just like 1 and then just do like all 3 of them. Let's rank the fourth quarters. I think that would be.
Ooh.
I think that.
Okay, then tennis. Then it's Florida number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because I went and looked at the drive summary. I mean, here were Mizzou's drives in the fourth quarter, and this one, the first one, technically started in the third, because that's when they hit the Marquise Johnson deep ball that kind of made it a good game. 8 plays, 95 yards for a touchdown. They force a 7-play punt drive. Then they get the ball, go 91 yards over 13 plays. That's like they had a 4th down conversion. I don't know, man. There's so much like that. Like, it was just like almost a dramatic, like, I don't even know the way to properly describe that fourth quarter in this game.
The Luther Burden touchdown from Cook when he zips it between, like, from our angle behind it, when he zips it between the 2 defenders, I thought it was an interception. And watching it back, I'm like, that is an insane throw and catch. So I don't know. I feel bad. I talked down this game, and I leaned Kenny's way too when I ranked this. Like, I took pure game entertainment value and kind of stepped back and looked at it that way a little bit. And like, if this Ohio State game is 35-33, it's probably number one easily, which isn't fair, but it's a testament to how good those final few games were. I was ready to go on a soliloquy about Tennessee. I totally thought I was going to be hyping up that game. The Chuck Hicks fumble recovery, I remember going
hyped about this.
Nuts for that. I mean, just this being the polar opposite of what we saw from this game for years and years, and it manifesting, and culminating in the pick six and then the field goal icing of the kicker, and he misses it. It was just incredible. Nestler on the call too, getting the marquee A-team CBS crew in their last or second to last year doing the SEC before they changed to the Big Ten. Schrader, this was the Schrader. If no one was watching Schrader at all this season, everyone watched this and was just like, I definitely got texts from people who are not big college football fans that were like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, Nestler and Danielson on the call. You want to talk about like some aura and mystique behind the game? CBS national broadcast. Both of these teams, I believe by this point, because I believe Tennessee had also previously lost to Georgia. I think they lost to Georgia the week before this, because I think, Kenny, can you check that real quick on the schedule again? Did Mizzou have a bye week after Georgia?
I think they did.
No, they didn't.
Oh, no, they didn't.
So Tennessee lost to Georgia at some point too. So both of these teams were essentially out of the SEC East at this point. This was a straight up jockeying for a New Year's Six spot game, which also felt very fitting that it was against Tennessee. And I mean, yeah, I'd hate to downplay the importance of this game because again, there was no SEC championship game stakes, I don't think. But gosh, I mean, you could tell Missouri really, really had what Tennessee had done in the back of their minds. This game started really slow. Honestly.
It did.
0-0 in the first quarter. It was only going to be 10-7 before Tennessee had that fumble. And then Schrader kind of stole them 3 points with a big run. Couple like moments I really remember. I know Luther was frustrated a lot in this game because he was hurt and he was playing hurt and you could tell it was bothering him. But I remember specifically when Schrader was just like, they were just daring Tennessee to do anything about it and they just couldn't do it. Nestler even says like on the Luther touchdown, like no reason to not give it to anyone but Schrader here or number 7 or something like that. But it's the little play action, throw it to Luther on the drag. Luther scores. You can tell that was such a nice, like, relieving moment for Luther. Like him and Brady had a moment on the sideline after that. But yeah, man, the two moments from this game were like, it was 29-7 by that point, and it was like the game's essentially over. But that pick six was just like, I was so greedy. I wanted them to keep scoring after that pick six, and yeah, the timeout. Petty Drinkwitz, man, he can just
stand on business, Josh.
When they're winning football games, I love that shit. I love when he's doing that. I think this was, and I think until maybe it still is. I'd have to go back and look. This was the only game under Heupel Tennessee had not scored double-digit points.
Yeah, I do remember that because that's what they were stopping too. That they said that at the end of the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a massive impact on the feelings of these games too from the mini movies. I think that there's such a awesome feeling about the ending to this Tennessee game when you hear "Cold as Ice" by Foreigner starting to play. When you rewatch the highlights from this game, that still gives me chills to this day.
I think.
Yeah, watching that and like seeing the actual like up close footage of everyone. It was bundled up too. It's a November cold game at night, and then Drinkwitz hits the timeout. I know they're saying stuff too on the sideline. I think they have D-Rob saying he's standing on business too. And that was something we didn't point out about the Arkansas. Who said it?
I think Realist George said he's gonna miss it. He's shook.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I
Someone
think
called
really
it was the defensive tackles together. I do remember like Josh Landry being a part of that too. And
yeah, I'd have to go back and watch, but
yeah, we didn't mention this about the Arkansas game too. That I guess the biggest highlight, or not the Arkansas game, was it the Florida game when D-Rob wore?
Oh,
Yeah,
Darius Mizzou.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
of
was
course.
We didn't even point that out. Okay, never mind. Florida is number one. I think it's consensus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's such a big feeling, and I think it'll be pretty fun if this season goes well for Mizzou. Watching these mini movies, going back on this season again, and just kind of getting those feelings again. Getting to see from the sideline. You get a lot more like, you get things that you've never seen before. There's a lot of feelings of, the chills and the nerves. You can see it on these players' faces. I think the Tennessee one was just incredible. I think the Tennessee one encapsulated so much of, the anger towards Tennessee from the last 2 years, especially last season, kind of going back to Tennessee running up the score. And, who was a quarterback on those final drives for Tennessee too? Joe Milton. And they put him in harm's way a bunch with this defensive line. He had one interception in this game too to end the game. I think just all around it's a game that I could see, up there as well. I had it at number 2, but incredible overall, just like ending to that one. And, Cold as Ice is by Foreigner is, the best song for it.
This was like I said, Payton, I was very close to putting this number 1. And this was a hate watch from minute 1. And I felt like the Adam Driver in the, ATST. Did I get it right? Where he's yelling more. Is that the right?
It's not an ATST.
Damn it.
It was an AT-AT like vehicle. I don't know if that's specifically what they're called in the first order. We'll get back to you on that.
I took a swing and I missed. I felt like him where he's yelling more, the meme when they're shooting Obi-Wan.
They're shooting Luke.
Fuck, God, what am I? Why? I gotta stop.
It's not Luke. It's a projection of Luke.
I know that. I gotta stop. Anyway, I felt like that meme, and like I went absolutely nuts when Joe Milton just telegraphed that throw straight to Dalen Carnell. A lot of love from Nestler for Kirby Moore in this game too. That was fun when I rewatched the highlights.
That's because Kirby Moore was really good this year.
Well, yeah, I know. It was just great. The Chuck Hicks, both of the fumbles early were great. The Chuck Hicks one right before halftime, and then the Dylan Sampson becoming a Mizzou sleeper agent, knocking it out of Milton's hands when he went for the handoff for the other fumble was great. Brady Cook scores that touchdown where he somehow got Tennessee to fall. Cody Schrader was this scary that they even put Nate Pete in the game and ran the fake pitch that Cook scores, and Tennessee still fell for it because they just probably thought it was Cody Schrader. And Nestler thought it was Cody Schrader because he said as much in the call, which was very funny, and it was Nate Pete. I did write down the Dalen Carnell pick 6 might also be in my pantheon of favorite Mizzou plays ever. The sad one from this game, Nestler does at one point say that this game is going to be a great rivalry for a while. Did not age.
That was the last thing I wanted to hit on. Like this series, like
it's so good.
Too close to the sun, I guess. It burned so like this was on fire. And then the SEC just snatched it away.
I think this is my favorite rivalry. It spreads to men's basketball too. I mean, beating Tennessee in their own building on a buzzer beater, like some close games in the last few years. I don't know. I think Arkansas will always kind of has to be number 1, but man, I get geared up when they play Tennessee in anything.
I doubt Tennessee sees it from that point of view too, but to go out with, having that win over them in that fan base. And I want to know your perspective on this too, Payton, because you see it a lot more. You're on Twitter. I don't think anyone's more ruthless than Tennessee fans. I think,
I'll tell you what, man, I agree with you. They don't see Mizzou as number 1.
But they will talk. I mean, I think the mid-poo, like Mizzou accounts, I think those are run by Tennessee fans.
But I'll tell you what, though, they are lying to themselves if they don't think Mizzou is at the very least 2 or 3 to them right now, because they go to On3, okay? Go to On3's Twitter, search Drinkwitz, click any tweet, and see what the first 3 replies are. They
always
hate him. Like no one, like They hate him the way I hate Beamer, like tenfold though. Like seriously, it is, and I don't blame him. If I were a Tennessee fan and Drinkwitz gets smacked, like gets 60 balled the previous 2 years, he gets one back, and then he does you stand on business, Josh. I hate that. And I'm so mad the SEC took this series because I think this would have turned into like a really like legit natural heated rivalry.
Especially now, there is a lot of overlap between these two schools that's not talked about enough. Of course, Heupel is a Mizzou guy. He has former Mizzou staffers on his staff, and now there's a handful of former Tennessee staffers on the Mizzou staff. You have Chop Harbin. I'm going to forget people's names. Coleman Minnis as well, kind of on the lower end of, on the recruiting side, I would say lower end. Liam Gray as well. I mean, there's a lot of guys that
staff.
Back off the field staff. And this is funny too, Payton. I pulled it up. You said to search Drinkwitz on On3. You know, like how bad the search engine is on X.
It's really terrible. Yeah.
The top tweet is Missouri defensive lineman Ian Matthews has entered the NCAA transfer portal.
Are you kidding me?
When you search Drinkwitz's name. But if you go to latest, it's that story that Chris Lowe did. Let's see.
Where Heupel's one spot above Drink, which I don't think is super unfair, but
no, this is just a straight interview that Chris Lowe did. Let's see. There's a Alabama fan, a couple Texas Tech fans in here.
Texas Tech, go away.
Well, yeah,
Arkansas.
they kind of have to be online right now, to be fair. They sort of.
This was in March.
They got to be Army
in this one. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, Payton.
There's like a guy with like an orange moose profile photo.
I know that the exact one you're talking about.
I don't know. I'm not throwing any shade because, again, I totally get it. Like, if I were a Tennessee fan, there's no chance I'd like Drinkwitz. But fortunately, I am a Mizzou fan, and I really loved when he did that because it was really, like, cathartic. Cathartic, I think, is the best way to describe this game.
Very good way, yeah.
Not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going to say, there's your word, Kenny. My last thing from this game, because you get – let's point out, leading tackler for Mizzou in this one is Trevis Johnson. With Chuck Hicks,
that'll probably be the only time you can say that this season.
Dude, Chuck Hicks was a superhero for like 3 plays.
When he transferred from Wyoming, he missed the year. He was injured in 2022, comes and plays in 2023. Did anyone have like a worse exit from Mizzou after being seen as like, oh man, this is a good glue guy. This is a good captain, at the linebacker spot. And then, it kind of gets swept under the rug.
Got bad.
The ending in 2024 wasn't good.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was
like the whole, I'm going to go miss my last football game ever. Because no disrespect to Chuck Hicks. Everyone knew he was not going pro. And he was like, I don't know. It was weird because Mizzou fans were not like very receptive of the support. And I remember Drink like quote tweeted him. Odd. It was just a very odd exit because he had like kept getting the dumbest penalties you had ever seen. So, and like Mizzou had like all these exciting young guys. They had Nick Rodriguez, they had Brian Huff, they had Beasley. They wanted to get a look at those guys in the bowl game, I think is what happened. And so they're like, do you want to maybe like get out of here on your own terms? Like,
but even then, I don't think many people picked up on it, where I think he did a good job of maybe saying like, oh, I want to go be a dad. I'm just going to get out of here.
I think you're like, why don't you make something up to get out of here?
But just the penalties that he had at the end of the year, I think that's where people are like, okay, like, what are you doing here, man?
Yeah. Mizzou fans were not fans by the end, fans of his by the end, but in 23, he was like, Mizzou had a bunch of just dogs.
He was a cult hero.
He was one of them.
He was a cult hero.
Newsome was a good player, very good player this year too.
Yeah, him too. That's another great one.
Yeah, look at these stats for Chuck Hicks: 53 tackles, 27 by himself, 1 pass deflection, 2 sacks, a forced fumble. That's a good year.
That's Tennessee.
Yeah, he was a lot of good. They just got a lot of contributions from her because Chad Bailey kept getting hurt, which was a shame because he was a very good player when healthy.
Yeah, we could point that out about Mizzou. Mizzou was down Ennis Rakestraw, down.
Going back to the Cotton Bowl, like
Cotton Bowl.
no.
The
Ennis.
Cad played. Yeah,
Cad
played.
played. He got hurt. Remember, he separated his
Yeah.
shoulder apparently, and then he said, "I'm going to keep playing."
And Carly's got hurt too. Like there's guys out of that game.
Carly's got hurt. I don't think they were missing anyone on offense though, which was big. Although it didn't really wind up.
You need the role players. That's how every championship level team.
But no, Tennessee, just rounding this one out, very cathartic. Maybe the most like, just kind of the like almost. I don't know the best way to put it. Almost sadistic feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can put it.
Like,
I can put it in. Yeah, I'll be like open about it. I was just angry watching this game the entire time, but in the best way. Like I just was like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like seeing that orange just made me mad, and seeing it not on the winning end made me like mad in a happy way. All right, I put this together. Let me know how you guys want to change it. So I think, given that Kenny and I, if we just go majority rule, we go Florida 1. Kenny, I'm willing to put Ohio State 2 after Payton's soliloquy. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine with me.
All right. So Florida 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3. I put Kentucky 4. Do we want to put Kansas State ahead of Kentucky?
I would put Kansas State ahead of Kentucky.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had the most important play in the program under Drinkwitz, so I think it has to go there. Kentucky 5, Arkansas 6. I put South Carolina 7. I put Georgia 8 above the Vanderbilt and Memphis wins. I don't know, just because Mizzou actually played all right in that game, but I could move it down if you want.
I'd move it below at least Vandy, I think.
Yeah.
I might move it below both, to be honest.
Memphis was a good team. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And then South Dakota is 11. LSU is 12. And Middle Tennessee, the win, is 13th.
I very much agree with that order.
All right. That's our list. Season.
I wonder how people feel about Florida at 1. Like, I'm not disagreeing. It's in the Pantheon, like top 3. I'm just curious if people are going to – I think a lot more people than us are going to have Tennessee at 1.
I can't, like I said, I came very close. I can't harp on that enough. I think I just had more memories come flooding back to me when I rewatched it for Florida in the end, and like barely. Like we're splitting hairs here. Like these 3 games are all awesome.
You could talk me into any of those 3.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't.
Even
matter.
Kansas State, you could talk me into being number 1. I think
Ohio State was a fantastic game. I'm really embarrassed that I couldn't remember when JSN got drafted and I watched him. That is a poor look. I just had a brain fart. We all get them. All right, leave me alone.
Does anyone know a good nickname for him?
I'm an old man. Super Bowl champ. That's a good nickname for him.
Don't I kind of look like a prisoner?
I don't know where I'll have to resume or where it was that I cut off. But yes, Kenny, I had that same thought that you almost look like we're getting a collect call from the Bubba Correctional Facility. You
look like Scotty Scheffler. Like the Scotty Scheffler right before Louisville.
Is he going to come back?
Some facial hair.
Is he gonna catch Wyndham Clark?
Dude, I really, really hope
we're recording this on a Saturday for everyone who's confused.
Like people are gonna know the answer by the time this comes out. I would rather have any British person win. I'd rather have Matt Fitzpatrick, Rory McIlroy, anyone else than Wyndham Clark.
He's named after a hotel chain.
Who?
Wyndham Clark.
What about him?
He's named after a hotel chain.
He beat an Oakmont locker to death.
In a window?
Death.
Or shut up.
I can't even. I'm not even in a window. We're not going to turn our.
So can I put a red on Russell Henley? Can I put a red score?
Yes, he I think he was 10 over. I saw.
Oh man.
What did I say?
Strokes back.
I had the U.S.
You took U.S. money line. I took Germany money line.
What a game for the U.S. We'll get to it. I have a quick hit on it.
What a game for
Germany.
What a game for Germany. I was a little bit sad. I really like the Ivory Coast, but they'll be all right. They got game 3. And I mean, you guys, don't listen to me for soccer anymore. I picked Ecuador to go to the fucking quarterfinals. That team stinks. They drew with Curacao today. I am an embarrassment to my favorite sport, and I am upset.
The pub I was at, because it is a pub, not a bar. There was a lot of Ecuador fans, and
I bet they're upset.
I left at the water break. I just wanted to go home, and yeah, they were already in there, like going through the emotions through 25 minutes in.
Ecuador, that is not going to be a happy place for a while. That they had high hopes, and they have floundered. Not a good look for them. Turns out when you don't have a guy who can score goals, you don't win very many games. It's tough. All right, we'll go to quick hits. We're going to talk some World Cup there and some other things on the other side. All right, quick hits time. We'll finish up the show. Kenny, we lost Payton. And I've moved venues. I'm potting from the floor right now. Oh, yeah. You happy about the two? It's usually not us on a two-man show. I'm trying to remember the last time, especially for quick hits. I feel like we've done a main segment here or there, but we'll have to see how we do on the Daily Dozen.
All right. NFL, top left corner. This is great. Who did the Seattle Seahawks defeat in the NFC Championship to qualify for the first Super Bowl in franchise history?
That was wow. Wait a minute. So this is back in 2006.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is it the Saints?
Might have been the Saints. So they played the Saints in the Beastquake game. That was that wild card game a couple of years later. Oh, man. I'm going to look like a bad fan. On top of when I screwed up Jackson Smith and Jigba's draft year, which I watched. Him and Devin Witherspoon. It's great. Okay. Let's go through some teams. So 06. Who would have been good around 06? The Saints, the Giants, the Bears.
Bears were the following year.
Right. But they were good. Might have been building. I don't think it was Seahawks, Bears. Falcons, Panthers. I'm just going through the division, see who feels right vibes wise. Roll with the Saints. Is it the Saints?
It's not the Saints.
Okay, wait. Let me
have the following year.
Let me have another crack. Eagles, Cowboys, Washington, or the Giants. I don't think it was an NFC North team because the only one probably would have been the Packers, and I don't think they.
I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown because I really want to know if you can get it on the fly. You ready? 5.
Philly.
4. All right, I'll put Philly.
I don't think that's right.
It's not. College football. As a sophomore.
We'll find out at the end. That's fine.
It's the Panthers. As a sophomore, this Penn State quarterback led the Big Ten with a career-high 29 touchdown passes in 2016.
Is this Sean Clifford?
Is it? Yeah. Is this Sean Clifford already?
Who are you going to say?
Who's the one?
I think he spells it Sean with a S-H. Oh, try Clifford. Maybe it's it's wrong.
Okay, Sean Clifford's not in here.
It's definitely not Sean Clifford.
Who is not Mettenberger? Or no, who's the not Mettenberger?
No, Mettenberger was LSU.
The other one that had a long name like
Hackenberg?
I think is it Hackenberg? That's not.
Nope.
I spell it wrong?
Man. Oh, is it Trace McSorley?
Yeah, let's go Trace McSorley.
Is this throw it on a dime?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. We just kind of danced around it.
Yeah, that's
soccer. Fun. Against what African nation did USA's Landon Donovan famously score a last-minute stoppage time goal in the 2010 group stage?
Okay, Kenny. Do you know?
I don't know.
Do you want to take a guess on the fly like I did with Philly?
Nigeria.
Close. It's Algeria.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Job. Retail and shopping. Nice. And Delish, it's spelled DE-LISH, have been grocery and food-based private labels for what large retailer?
Ooh, nice. Oh,
I don't know.
What's like a nice brands? Where do you see that at?
No idea. Target?
No.
Is
that like a Publix?
I feel like it'd be bigger than that.
Bigger than a Publix?
I'll put Publix though. It's not on here.
Okay. Maybe go Target. They have nice brands. I thought Target was wonderful.
I don't know. Celebrity mashup.
Wonderful.
That's the guy from The Whale. Hate that I know That's the only movie I think of him from. The guy from The Mummy. You know,
I don't recognize either of these two. No, I don't.
It's the guy from The Mummy. The Whale. This is so bad that I have to look him up from The Whale. It's Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Okay. I've seen him in
I know
things.
Brendan Fraser's one of them.
Can't tell who that like face is.
Who is Anne Hathaway?
Oh, could be. Nope.
All right. Well, I was right on
You got Brendan Fraser. Good for you.
Snacks and candy. The words peanut caramel bar are found on white wrappers of this candy.
I am not the right person for this one.
I'm not either.
Don't
Television. Know. January Jones and Mary Steenburgen had roles on this Fox comedy set in a post-apocalyptic Earth from 2015 to 2018.
Oh.
Is this a cartoon or is this an actual?
No, it's on Fox. I don't think that
Fox has cartoons.
Yeah, but I don't think, well, maybe it's a cartoon.
I don't know. This is bad. I don't know. This is not going well.
Yeah, this is a rough showing.
Movies. Disney released this family-oriented action movie in 1999 based on a 1980s cartoon with Matthew Broderick in the lead role.
Family-oriented. Is it? This isn't The Incredibles, is it? That's not. Is that Disney?
I don't think it was based on a cartoon, was it?
I guess it is a cartoon. You're right. The Thundermans? I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, 1999 is.
No, it would say action. It would be like animated. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Music.
Oh, man.
The Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks shot videos of themselves doing a viral dance trend from this 2012 Bauer song that went viral in 2013.
You want to do it for us, Kenny?
I'm not really good at it. I just remember LeBron going.
I don't think you just have to shake.
I thought he did went up to the camera like this.
He did. Oh yeah, LeBron did. That's an all-time. That's an all-timer. It's the
Harlem Shake. All right, we're gonna give up. Not worth it.
Yikes.
NFL only 6%. Yeah, it was the Carolina Panthers. Retail and shopping. Walgreens. Nice brand. That makes sense. I think I do that. I was thinking of a Walgreens. I don't know why I didn't say it. Celebrity mashup. The woman was Jessica Chastain. Very funny. I watched 13 Hours, whatever the movie is about, where they killed Osama bin Laden. She's in that movie.
Oh, is that Zero Dark
30? Zero Dark 30, yeah. Snacks and candy. Payday. I can see that now. It's that white with the blue on it.
No idea. Can't eat them.
Television. Last Man on Earth.
Okay, I'll hand up. I did know there was a show called The Last Man on Earth, but I thought that was too easy. I thought it was I should have gone with my gut there. I do know that show.
Movies. Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. Oh, we should. That's bad. That's bad. We should have got that. That's a great movie. Oh,
good movie. All right,
we let the people down. Me and Payton had gotten into good chemistry for the two-man Daily Dozen. You and I have to get on the same wavelength. You carried that one though. All right, Tigers in the Wild. We've got some commits to talk about, Mr. Kenny. Why don't you talk about the first one? You've been very busy on this Sunday. I know you love that.
I love when you say that. 4 official visitors this weekend for Missouri. We enter an NCAA dead period here on Monday until the beginning of the season, so no visits through July and then into August. And the Tigers don't start the season in August this year, so they can have. The last couple of years too, you've been able to have recruits on campus for that first game if you are playing in August. The Tigers' first game of the year, of course, is in September for Week 1 on the Thursday. Not really going to have many visitors to begin with. It's a Thursday night. Kids have school the next day. Parents have work. You also have a football game on Friday too if you're a high schooler. So it's just not really how it's going to work. So last time we'll see visits probably until the third week in September. But Tari Miller, the first commitment of Sunday for the Tigers, comes over from Miami Central. He's played at 3 different high schools in Florida throughout his career. But these last two, his junior and senior seasons will be at All right. So his junior season was at Miami Central, and his senior season will be at Miami Central as well. He visited with some other South Florida guys. Alan Blackshear is a 3-star safety committed to Connecticut, and Solomon Efumbaho, who's originally from Canada, but he also plays at Miami Central now too. So there's a good connection there. He's going to be a guy that I'm reaching out about right now to see if there's anything moving in the direction for commitment as well for him at the edge rusher position. But with Tari Miller, it was a little bit interesting because earlier in the week, I had reached out to Missouri about it, and Missouri was, a little bit uncertain at the time if he was still going to officially visit. He went to Georgia last weekend. He announced a commitment date for June 30th between LSU, Auburn, Mizzou, and Georgia. Ended up only visiting Georgia and Mizzou, and chose the Tigers. He doesn't really talk much in his recruitment if you're not seeing him in person. So don't have many updates from him. I know Wayne Younger played a role in this recruitment, though. The assistant cornerbacks coach. He is from South Florida. He coached at a high school down there. A lot of the recruits know about him, know about his time there. I mean, there's relatives that played at his high school too. So that plays a part. And he's the first cornerback commitment for the Tigers. On Saturday too, Missouri was battling Indiana for Ramir Harris Dupree from North Carolina, but he chose Indiana. Tigers get their first cornerback commitment. I don't expect Raheem Floyd from East St. Louis to choose Missouri. All signs are pointing to Florida now after his official visit there. But Tari Miller takes up that first cornerback spot. And it's a good trend for Al Pogue to get this one done early, to get a commitment from a cornerback. Especially last cycle, he had to pick up a lot of work in the fall and sign 2 guys then. But he did flip a pretty good one to Jackson Gates from BYU.
Yeah, seems like a really nice get. And so, Wayne Younger?
Yep.
So that seems like that's the name to know, perhaps from a staffer perspective, the good Miami connections that go pretty far back. That I always like seeing that within the commitment posts is like who among the backroom staff members were involved just as much as guys like Al Pogue and some of the more notable assistant names that So that's a good sign. Good get here for the Tigers.
Another thing, 2 more things I'll point out because a lot of people have been talking about it when they see, just Tari Miller and looking at his numbers. He's 6'4", 180 pounds. That's a big cornerback, and he's going to put on weight too. You can expect that. Yeah. I'm sure Mizzou might push him to 200 if once they get him into their weight program once he signs in December. And another thing I'll point out too is that there are other connections to South Florida, especially to Miami Central on this staff. Of course, Derek Nicholson's going to be a big one, the linebackers coach and co-defensive coordinator who came over from Miami ahead of last season. And someone who joined him as well, it's Sabbath Joseph, who's the assistant edges coach. He played at Miami Central as well. Miami Central is a pretty big school that produces Power 4 college football players. There was no overlap between Sabbath Joseph and Tari Miller, but overlapping of knowing where these kids come from. And he and Derek Nicholson had visited this school during the contact period in the past 2 months. Yeah,
nice get for Mizzou there with their first cornerback. Next recruit update isn't a commit, but is a rankings bump, and a pretty notable one at that. Payton's Tiger in the Wild is going to Imani White, who will join as one of, I believe, 6 members of the Mizzou gymnastics team in the signing class of 2026. She is now, Kenny, the #1 recruit in the country. Was a 5-star when Mizzou got her back in October. She was the second commit and signee. Kendall Morgan, I believe, was the first. So it'll be Morgan White, Addison Anderson, Ashton Conley, and Dakota Coco Haynes are the rest of the class. But pretty exciting stuff. I mean, Mizzou, a gymnastics program that is, it's funny. I feel like, we talk about in the opposite respect with baseball that's trying to work its way up to compete in the SEC. This is what you have to do for gymnastics just to do that is land the #1 recruit in the country and have these really good signing classes. So good for Mizzou and congrats to Imani White for that achievement. #1 in the country. Pretty good thing to brag about.
Good PR to get this out there as well as quickly as they did. Top 2, not 2. Right. It's fun. Mizzou gymnastics program keeps trending in the right direction, and expecting even another big season in 2026 and 2027.
That is College Gym News, by the way, if you're curious who does the rankings. I believe she was, when she committed, was 5th. And I think the number 1 on vault and is now number 1 overall. So congrats to Amani. My Tiger in the Wild, you knew it was going to be the second commit for Mizzou football of this Sunday when we're recording this. Mizzou added an offensive tackle, Kenny. Jalen Hill, 3-star. Nearly. He's 1296 overall and on 3, the number 102nd ranked offensive tackle. Number 53rd player out of Alabama, plays for Lannett High School. From what I read from you, Arkansas, Kansas State, Mississippi State, and Pittsburgh were all in the mix there. 5th O-line pledge, 2nd tackle, and 16th commit now for 2026 Mizzou football class that at least on 3 ranks 11th in the SEC and 27th in the country, and overall just has a lot more names to it, which is very nice to see at this point of the summer. Jalen Hill is technically the latest one, right? He was the second on Sunday. What should the people know about him?
Yeah, Mizzou's. Did you say 27th?
They are
in the nation. 31st in the nation.
I'm looking at 27th. Maybe it didn't update for me. Hold on. Yeah, it says 27th for me. Maybe. Oh, this does say 23 commits though.
I think you're on the 2026 class.
Oh, I so am. You're so right.
Yeah,
18th in the country, 11th in the SEC for. No, that's 2025. I went the wrong way again. 31st. You're totally right. And 12th.
31st and 12th. Mizzou ended up dropping a little bit. And that's in part to Jalen Hill's ranking. You point out those numbers being in the thousands, and you don't even rank players at that point. It's just a computer ranking it based on the average grade from the 3 major networks. And that's where the thousands come from. That's not On3 doing it. It's just the computer putting them all into the correct ranking order based on their numbers. So like a guy like Jack Marquardt is 85.47. He's an offensive tackle. Jalen Hill's average number is 84. And that's just between 247 and rivals, because he doesn't have an ESPN ranking. So once he gets an ESPN ranking, that'll surely go up. That number will move. I doubt it would go any further down from 1,300 in the country. But once he gets that, you can move up, because Mizzou was around like 29th in the nation and 11th in the SEC. And these rankings will change. I mean, there's going to be a 2027 update here soon. Guys like Braylon Warren could be in contention for a boost. A guy like Kobe Rhymes as well, the linebacker spot and the quarterback spot for Braylon Warren. With Jalen Hill, his recruitment really took off in the spring. He plays at a 2A school in Alabama, so not the biggest school in the state. Al Pogue offered him the cornerbacks coach. He has those Alabama ties, and Brandon Jones picked it up from there. He spent his first unofficial visit at Missouri in March for spring practice, set all those official visits. South Carolina was a school that was emerging. He took an unofficial visit there, ended up not taking an official visit, but it was a school that was jumping in late. So there was other interest from SEC schools, but he ended up choosing Missouri. And I don't know if you saw his post, Jack.
I have not.
Try to find it real quick. I want to count how many zeros he put in this. So he tagged me in it, and I retweeted it. Let me find it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros. What would that be? 100 million% committed is what he said.
Wow.
So very locked in with the Tigers. That gives Mizzou 5 offensive linemen in the class. They're making up a lot more ground this year than they did last year. They only had 10 commits when they got through official visits and into July and into the fall. They only had 10, with Tony Forney Jr. being one of the last ones. I think he was the last one. It was July 4th. Do you remember he committed then? And he was the last one for the Tigers at the time. He ended up signing with Pitt, didn't even sign with Mizzou. But out of there, Mizzou's already up to 16, and they're going to get more guys at the end of this month. A guy like Trey Britton is trending towards Missouri as well at the wide receiver spot. Jalen Hill takes up another one of those offensive tackle spots, like I mentioned earlier with Jack Marquardt. That's 5 offensive linemen. Now you're just waiting on the decision of Kyler Kuhn, who's a 4-star. That's the prized offensive lineman in this class that Missouri's after. That would give you 6 offensive linemen. I think there's an extra spot in there as well with Brandon Anderson no longer with the program, who signed with the Tigers in the 2026 class. Don't know what happened. I think we spoke about it in the show. I don't even remember, but he is no longer with the program. So I think it opens a spot just in the depth chart for the future. and gives you a little bit more wiggle room to take 6. And, you're not expecting to keep all those guys for their entire college careers. I think that's fair to say. Things happen, career arcs change, make different decisions to leave a program or pursue something else. But I think this is, a fine kind of, foundation for this offensive line class moving forward as Jalen Hill marks the 5th for the Tigers and Brandon Jones.
Yeah, I like that they just have 5. You can never add enough offensive linemen to speak for Payton while he's not here. So Jalen Hill, the latest, more hopefully to come for Mizzou. Kenny will be on that over at Mizzou today. Kenny, what's your headline?
Headline: The Athletic ranks top 75 prospects in 2026 NBA draft by unique tiers. The surprise at number 1 it comes from Nick Costco at On3, friend of Mizzou today. So they have different tiers. They have like the Big 4. Cameron Boozer, I think that's the surprise here, is ahead of AJ
Debansa.
I just don't say his name often. I see it every day.
I think it is Debansa. I've heard both, but I believe Debansa is correct.
Debansa. I think that's the first time I've ever said his name, and I see it every day.
Wow.
But if you go down the list and we fall into the 60s. Yep, fall into the 60s. This is the Summer League, Tier 12. Mark Mitchell, number 68.
Good, very good. Yeah, I look at a lot of 2-round mock drafts. I've been in 60-person big boards. He hasn't quite slipped in there. I think that's a firmly safe spot for him. I mean, you look at some of the names that are around. If you're a college basketball follower, especially an SEC follower, you see like Duke Miles up there at 62 from Vanderbilt. Milos Uzan, longtime player for Houston. Xavier Lee, big time transfer addition to Florida. Felix Okparo is really good for Tennessee. Mark Mitchell's firmly in that tier. I have maintained that even though I don't think he'll end up getting selected, he will 1000% end up on a summer league team. He will play a lot in the summer league and get a chance to earn his way onto an NBA setup. And from what materializes from there, we'll see. So that is good. I'm not surprised by that at all to see him, and good to see him up there in the 60s, not all the way down at the last spot.
Just good to see him in the top 70.
Yeah, or 75. Yeah.
ESPN has him at 73.
Yeah, I think that 65 to 75 range is about fitting. It's just there's a couple tough things to project with him, but obviously, yeah, he will get a shot in summer league and play a lot. So that'll be good. What's Payton's headline, Kenny? Or should I just say it? Yeah, I like it. My headline this week, the United States clinches Group D as 10-man Paraguay edges Turkey. USMNT, I said in the top segment that we talk some World Cup, and the US, Kenny, has won Group D. They beat Australia 2-0, and then Paraguay did a huge favor, knocked off Turkey, which means because of head-to-head, the U.S. cannot finish any worse than first, and so they will play a third-place team in the round of 32. Big deal. And if they beat Turkey, they'll go 3-for-3 in the group stage, and it does matter. And also Turkey, man, if you want an interesting read, Kenny, look at their reactions to they're a pretty soccer crazed nation. They're very disappointed in how they're doing, but it does matter.
Is that the fan base that's been pretty upset about teams having non-born players, like non-nation-born players?
I don't know who I've seen that from, actually. That doesn't come across my desk, but it doesn't surprise me that is happening from some teams. That usually comes up from time to time. You definitely see that. So the U.S. will play the third place team from one of the following groups, Kenny. Group B, E, F, I, or J. We don't know. It has to still shake out. There's I think I heard today there was 500 different combinations of what it could be still. And we're obviously only in the second round of games right now still, and have to see how it all shakes out. I have seen some pretty favorable draws. There was one that had them going through, I think it was Bosnia, and then they would play Austria or Uruguay in the quarterfinals, which is the furthest that the U.S. has ever gone. They have never gone to the semifinals of a World Cup before. Sorry, that's not true. They finished third in the first one ever back in 1930. So it's a big deal. You can get yourself a really good draw if you win the group, and the U.S. already done that. So It's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff.
Can you explain why Alex Freeman almost didn't play for this team? Did you see this story?
I did not see this story. Didn't play for the U.S.?
Just soccer, like in general. He had to move to Orlando because he tried to play for the Inter Miami. What do you call those? Like the
academy team?
Academy team, and Inter Miami didn't let him on the team, so he had to move to Orlando.
Oh wow! And so he almost just dropped it altogether because of that.
I just don't think he would have been like in contention or like be in the right spotlight in order to move up the ranks. What's the team in Orlando?
Orlando City FC plays in Orlando. So he probably just went and joined theirs instead. Yeah, I mean, it is, and it's a testament to how crappy our youth setups are. Where if you can't pay, or these teams are all about winning, and if you should be in no reason to reject anybody if they want to play and try their hand at the academy. Yeah, if they don't move up the levels and get good enough and don't pan out, they get dropped after a while. That happens everywhere. But a guy shouldn't not be able to play. That's for especially if they move on down there to do that. But he's in a very good spot now. I mean, scored a goal. He's over in Spain playing his club ball. So glad it worked out. Glad for the U.S. it worked out, and as well as for him. So, all right, we can read Payton's dumb headline. It comes from ESPN Milwaukee. I don't deny this is dumb either. This is a nice troll job. It's a quote from a radio show on ESPN Milwaukee. The quote reads as follows: Giannis doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. He wants to leave the Bucks. That is from Ben Brust on Kyle and Brust. Do you know who Ben Brust is, Kenny? Does that name ring a bell to you at all? Good college basketball. He used to play for Wisconsin. He has some kind of iconic moments. One buzzer beater in particular against Michigan that you've probably seen on a compilation before. Kenny's Googling Portland on Google Maps. Oh yeah, Milwaukee. Yeah. So my uncle lives in Portland and has a sweatshirt of that Milwaukee in Oregon. That's a suburb of Portland. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The whole saga is tiring. I'm not going to tell anyone who's following this doesn't already know or feel. I want it done just like the rest of you, believe me. And
the rest of you,
stuff like that doesn't help. Yeah, the rest of you.
As in, like, there might be like one other person that watches the show that has any affiliation with the Bucks.
No, I'm saying like just NBA. NBA fans in general are very annoyed by this now. Everyone is just done. They want it to be done. That's more what I meant. That's more what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You have a ratio of the week. It's a tough one.
Yep. Submitted by our friend Jack Sobel. Pat McAfee had Adam Schefter on his show earlier this week, talking about the Brendan Sorsby situation. Is that an AI graphic?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay. It's just
it might be because it's like you're not like zoomed in on the video, like, so it might look a little finicky. It could very well be, though. Wouldn't put past it.
So Adam Schefter's talking about the situation, especially with just breaking down the NFL supplemental draft. Chase Daniel quoted the video saying, "This is an extremely useful clip regarding what exactly the supplemental draft is and how it works. Brendan Sorsby is unquestionably a first-round talent. Will the teams actually take a chance on him? ? They got 235,000 views, 97 likes, 22 quotes and retweets, and 26 replies. And one of those replies comes from Dane Brugler of The Athletic. If he were a slam dunk first-round talent, he would have declared for the 2026 NFL Draft. 1.7 thousand likes, 81 quotes and retweets, and 39 replies. One of those replies, Chase Daniel, used the red shirt year wisely. 5 likes.
Oh, Chase Daniel, that's a tough one. Got to agree with Dane here. Do you think someone will pick him in the supplemental draft? Didn't we talked about this last week too, but
I do think someone will pick him.
If he was a running back and did this, do you think he gets drafted? Because I think being a quarterback helps him. Yeah. I think it's the fact of how important that position is.
I don't think there's another position. Maybe if he was like on the same par of like an edge rusher.
Defensive.
But line, I just don't. I mean, Payton might know this a little bit more than us too on what the value of positions are right now. But I think quarterback would probably. I mean, it's it's in its own tier. And I think edge rusher might be sort of close. I mean, there is a bunch. I just think there's a lot more leeway with quarterbacks making mistakes off the field.
Superstar receiver too, maybe.
Yeah.
I think you're starting to see that get, I don't know, interest. We'll see. But sorry, Chase Daniel, that's a tough one for you to get ratioed. All right, Kenny, before we go, I was given a Washington National of the Week.
Oh, I got my own.
Oh, do you? Oh, well,
I want to know who do you want to know who mine is, or do you want to do yours?
Payton sent me one, so it's not really mine. He just gave me one.
Who is it?
He picked pitcher.
Okay.
Oh, Joe Ross.
Okay.
Joe Ross was, it looks like 4-4 in his season at Washington, 5.48 ERA, 39 earned runs, 57 strikeouts. That is the fourth most of his. No, it's like actually one of the worst of his career he actually played. Yeah, he also played for. Oh, he played for the Brewers. Don't remember. Yeah, sorry. Philly and Arizona and Texas in 2026. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm sure Payton would have more, but he just sent me the name. So, Joe Smith.
I thought I had a good one here. I had Trace Barrera. If people remember his name, if you really followed baseball in the early 2000s, he was a backup catcher for the Nationals in 2021 and 2022. Played in 49 games total across those two seasons. He played 6 games with the Cardinals in 2023, but he debuted with that 2019 Washington Nationals team. He played in 2 games. Didn't have any offensive stats, didn't strike out or anything, just 2 at-bats, got out in both of them. So didn't play much of anything in that season. But the interesting part about Trace Barrera's career is that he is now 31 years old. So he debuted in 2019 as a 24-year-old, 31 now. He's bounced around in the minor leagues a lot. He's been with the Cardinals, the Rays, and I was pleasantly surprised. He is back in the Nationals organization. He is with the Rochester Red Wings in AAA, has been on and off the development list, mainly getting placed there as, when they need to open up a roster spot for someone else. But he's on the development list right now as of June 16th.
Trace Barrera, now you know.
All right. I have a joke as well. I went to today's show.
Wow, we're doing all Payton's legwork for him.
I know.
Let's hear it.
This one comes from Sarah Lemire. I had to go up and check just to make sure.
Thank you, Sarah.
Today's shows. I felt like this one was very fitting, as it is Father's Day when we're recording this part of the show. When does a joke become a dad joke?
I just heard someone just told me this.
I think we've done this one before.
Well, I think we have. When does a joke become a dad joke? Oh my! I don't remember.
When it becomes apparent.
Apparent. Oh my God.
When the punchline becomes apparent.
The punchline becomes apparent. Yeah, I've definitely heard that, and I didn't remember. Good one. That'll do it. Floor quick hits for me, but ceiling quick hits for all of you people listening and watching, because Mizzou got 2 more football recruits, and as the #1 player in the country in gymnastics, we will be back on Friday. We'll have, I'm sure, some more news, potentially some more recruiting news to discuss, and then we'll have to continue the series. We've got 2 more left, 2 more seasons left of the Drinkwitz era to rank. Those will be on the next couple of Mondays. Doubt we'll do a 2-parter again. Nothing was as good as 2023. It was so good. We were so right too, Kenny. Florida's #1. It's just not Ohio State.
I know. I
can't put a
people to be like,
I can't put a 14-3 game #1. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. If that game happened, if Mizzou beats Ohio State on September 8th, 14-3, it's not #1. It isn't. Same team, same everything. It's just not in the Cotton Bowl. It's like a random non-con. Ohio State would be livid. That would be great, but it wouldn't be #1. Just wouldn't.
There's just no correct way to rank it.
It's not.
There's no possible way. And if you look at it from entertainment perspective, I think we're right. If you look at it from Payton's perspective, he's right. And that's just a fun part about it.
That's how it goes. Good dichotomy. All right. Thank you everyone for watching, listening. Go subscribe on the YouTube. Give us a follow. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. We'll see you all next time.